Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are here at the 2024 edition of the New York Auto Show. And of course, we had to start off our day at the Ford booth because there's some special Mustang madness that's on display here. And it starts with this vehicle right here. What is this? This is a 2024 Ford Mustang Dark Horse. But guess what? This is the one that you've seen pictures of all over the interwebs. This is the all-new matte finish edition. But before we get into this classic muscle car, but with all the new tech and horsepower you want, let's talk about what's going on here. 2025 model year is going to be a very important standpoint for Ford. It's the 60th anniversary of the launch of the Ford Mustang. Now what's exciting is that the Mustang continues just like it did from step one, that rear-wheel drive performance car, many different ways to option it, just like the good old days, but also new technology that's never been seen before in a Mustang product. Now, for 2024, we brought you the excitement behind the GTs and the Dark Horses and even the EcoBoost. But with this particular Mustang, this Dark Horse here, finished in Vapor Blue, this is now an industry first where you could actually order your car from the factory with a matte finish wrap. The whole vehicle covered in matte PPF. What does PPF stand for? Paint Protection Film. So what I want to find out is, if you're looking to buy yourself a Mustang and you've been craving that muscle car feel, is this the best way to go ordering it with the matte finish? Let's go ahead, let's dive into our Dark Horse and find out. So right off the bat, you'll notice how immediately this color known as Vapor Blue has a totally different appearance about it. And what's great is that down the line, you could eventually take the film off if you choose to do so. Now from the factory, it's gonna come with a full 3-year warranty. And what's interesting is that many people do this after the car purchase. So it's gonna be quite interesting to see how people gravitate towards this, with it being the first time that a manufacturer has offered matte PPF from the factory. Now, the way that it fits the Dark Horse, I really like. And remember, when it comes to the Dark Horse, what are some of the things that makes it different from a Mustang GT? Of course, you're gonna have that flat black finish underneath our triple LED headlight beam setup with our tri-bar daytime running lamps. You'll notice that the installers at the Ford factory are going to assemble and put that matte wrap perfectly around the edges. This is one of those things that if you don't do it right, it's going to show on the corners. And what's great to see underneath the New York show lights is that great fit and finish of the PPF. Now, working our way down on the Dark Horse, you do have those enlarged corner air intakes with a little bit of gloss black, nothing too crazy. And then you're also gonna get those lower lip extensions to give you more downforce. Now the great news is, if you are gonna utilize this downforce at a racetrack or an autocross event, the matte finish wrap is actually gonna protect your paint from getting damaged. And what's great is that the PPF ever does get damaged, you do have that warranty, and then they could just change out the single piece. So if it's just the hood that maybe gets a couple slices in it from a couple rocks or something, you could just replace the wrap portion on the hood. Now, as we come across the front of the Dark Horse, one of the things that I like particularly on the Dark Horse is how you have that unique grille setup. So you're gonna have your gloss black, your satin gray finish, functional snorts, because remember, underneath that hood, we have 2 openings here. We also have, for the first time on a Mustang, twin throttle bodies. And if you want to see any of my on throttle reviews, I'll leave one at the end of this one so that you can see us go on throttle in a Dark Horse. On the lower portion, you do have a little bit more gloss black, and you'll notice how that matte finish PPF, like I said, the way they install it at the factory, fantastic job on all the different body elements. Now, as you rise up, you're gonna have that large gloss black heat extractor, and I really like how the matte finish on this Vapor Blue really shows the body lines. Another thing you gotta remember too is that if you bring it to a shop, who knows how many S650 Mustangs they've done? Maybe yours might be the first where they're using it as a test subject. Obviously, the people at Ford in Michigan are gonna know how to install the wrap because they build the cars. So obviously installing the wrap is going to be much, much easier. Now, underneath the hood, don't forget, when you go dark horse, you're getting the most powerful Coyote V8 engine ever. 5 liters of V8 goodness equals 500 horsepower, and if you go manual transmission, you're going to get that buttery smooth, slick shifting Tremec 6-speed manual. If you don't want to road through your own gears, that's okay. I'm okay with it. They offer a 10-speed automatic transmission with, remember, with the manual 373 gears out back. Now, when we come around the bend and you go dark horse, especially with the matte finish, like I said, the way it accents all the body lines, really nice and crisp, even in places where you didn't even notice where the shape was really sexy. Like I said, that matte finish really shows off that design. Now, when it comes to wheel and tire, our particular one has the handling package. So you're gonna get, of course, these 19-inch forged aluminum wheels, all 4 corners, with those Pirelli P0 tires, massive 6-piston Brembo calipers, and then that 2-piece brake rotor. Of course, when we look at the dark horse, it's not just about the extra 500 horsepower, it's about the increase in braking capability, the Magna-Ride suspension, and of course, all the coolers, your diff cooler, your transmission cooler, your engine cooler, to keep those track temps in check. Now, when we go down the side, I love the way how a lot of times you're gonna have to remove these when you put your PPF on. From the factory, they actually put the badging on over it. So nice to see the dark horse badge with that matte finish. From the side of the vehicle on the mirror caps, you're gonna get that same satin gray finish. And then, like I said, I think my favorite part about the matte is that it really changes the personality. One color that I'd be curious to see with the matte finish, and I think the one that I would choose would be grabber blue. I really feel like that color looks great by itself, but with the matte finish, I think is gonna even look more spectacular. Now, as we work our way towards the rear, especially with the dark horse, you are getting a little bit wider wheel and tire out back to get the power to the ground, of course, because it's not just about looking good. You also want to have it perform well. And like I said, if you go manual transmission, you're going to have 373 gears with a limited slip diff. Now, swinging it around the back, this is a tricky place to put the PPF because you have that unique rear wing, rear spoiler to the dark horse and all the different mounting points. So Lori's going to show you from the front how the spoiler mounts to the rear of the vehicle. Putting that PPF on after the purchase is very difficult in this area. And a lot of times people put the PPF on just on the front. This, remember, the whole car is wrapped in that matte finish PPF. Of course, I'm really loving how they've done the tri-bar taillights, that signature design. Like I said, celebrating 60 years of the Mustang. We got our dark horse steering you out back. And you'll notice, look at the edges. It's all in the fine details. You look at all the details here, the wrap, that matte finish wrap is perfectly applied. And then of course, on the dark horse, you're gonna get that unique 4-inch exhaust, quad tip. Make it loud, piss everybody off. Make it quieter if you wanna keep the peace, but I don't know about you, I'm just gonna leave that in full loud mode. But why don't we go ahead, let's jump inside so we could talk about what kind of price to expect if you want to go matte finish on your Mustang. All right, guys, we're inside this 2024 Mustang Dark Horse with the matte finish. Now we get down to the nitty gritty. What is it going to cost you? So if you're looking to have the matte finish added, there's some things that we need to talk about. First of all, you're not going to be able to get the stripe kit on the hood, whether it be the vinyl or the painted. So that's one thing you got to ask yourself. Were you already going to get the stripes on the hood of the Dark Horse? If you go Mustang GT or EcoBoost, same story. Are you going to get any of the side stripes, the racing stripes, anything like that? You won't be able to get it from the factory. There are companies out there like Presidential Detailing that where they would apply the film and they're able to trim it and cut it and all that kind of stuff to go around all the vinyl or painted stripes. Another thing you got to ask yourself is, are you going to want that additional cost? Because if you look at the price of a Dark Horse, especially with the handling package, you're going to be getting up there in that MSRP around $73,000. The matte finish of any Mustang is going to be right around, it's a tick under $6,000. But like I said, that does come with a full 3-year warranty. And don't forget that it is installed at the factory. Now, one other thing you're going to have to think of is that, are you going to get it ceramic coated? Because remember, ceramic coating protects the paint just like the PPF, but it'll also help keep the PPF nice and strong as well. So that is somewhere where you would need to take it, like Presidential Detailing, to get the ceramic coating done on top of the matte finish. You don't do ceramic coating and then put the PPF on top of it. It's the other way around. But why don't we go ahead? We're in this dark horse. I want to show you some of that. And like I said, $6,000 for the matte finish. So you need to add that to any price of any Mustang. This one is going to be right around $73,000 plus the 6. But like I said, call up any PPF installer. It's not cheap. But when it's done right, boy oh boy, that's when it looks like this one. But let's see what the dark horse brings on top of a regular Mustang to the door panels. So what you're going to find is all that great blue stitching, the Alcantara material, nice soft touch, the dark gray accents on the door handle there. And then you do have a door pocket that's a pretty good size for 2 New York bagels with a nice large cream cheese schmear and a small cup of coffee in there. Now going from the door panel to the dash, all dark horses get a chassis number plate. That's one way to see that you got the dark horse with your special number there. And then of course we were talking about new technology. In all the Mustangs you have the new screens. We're at the auto show. I can't show you this one. Maybe if I open up the door I might do something, but can't show you the Access because we're sitting at the show. But we've shown this to you when we drive them, and I'll keep a review at the end of this one. You got your bright Jolly Rancher red start stop button, wireless charging, and then of course this guy right here. When you go dark horse, this is the best part of it. You get the 6-speed Tremec manual transmission right out of the Shelby GT350 with the first ever titanium shift knob from Ford. Love the color, the shift pattern, nice short throw. Of course we have our e-brake, that electric drift e-brake. And then this particular one has the upgraded interior. So you're gonna have the more premium leather with the Alcantara, not the Recaros, but the good news is these are heated, ventilated, and they do have power bottoms. Half of it. The back portion is not. But why don't you go ahead, come over to the business side. I want to show you behind the flat bottom wheel of this special dark horse. All right guys, business time behind the wheel of this dark horse. Remember, 60 years of the Mustang, and it's never gone out of production like other brands with the Chevrolet Camaro, and even the Corvette missed a year. 1983, there was no production Chevrolet Corvette, but for 60 years, you had the Mustang. Now, what's great about the dark horse, when you come in, you're immediately welcome to remind you went with that top performance Coyote powered car, Mustang dark horse. In the pedal box, we have, of course, our triple pedal setup, aluminum clutch, brake pedal and throttle. You could do your own heel-toe downshifting, or it has automatic rev match downshifting. And then you have your seat controls for the bottom portion, easy to get to. I just wish the back was power as well. So that is a zonk, but what they did in space in here, nice large room. I'm 6 feet tall. You could get your helmet on, and then the steering wheel upgraded, looks fantastic with the Alcantara, with the leather, the blacked out pony, and then you do have that large digital screen behind with all of your buttons, modes, and everything easily accessible. But obviously I want to go more on throttle on a Mustang dark horse, and we will be doing that. So why don't we go ahead? We, though, need to finish it up and wrap it up from New York, so let's get to it. All right, guys, always a blast being here at New York, but always a blast being at the Ford booth, because guess what? We had the special attention to these 2 special Mustangs. Stay tuned for the one behind us, because we're also going to be covering that one. But having a matte finish from the factory, of course, Ford would be the one to do it first, right? But let me know what you think. Are you liking the way it looks, especially with the Vapor Blue? And is this the way that you would option your Mustang with this PPF direct from the factory? Very curious to see what you're going to say about in the comments. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. Of course, we need to give it up to the person that is rock solid no matter how much I lose my insanity. Lori, you're the best and you do it all so very well. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.